It's the end of an era, guys. Kristen here, and we are talking about Charmed Season 4, Episode 13. This is the series finale of the Charmed reboot. This is it, guys. This is it. I wanted to start off before we even dive into this to just say thank you so much for joining me every week for the last 4 seasons of the show to talk about it. I've gotten so many just really kind messages from you guys saying how this has been a safe space for you, not just to even just talk about Charmed, but movies and TV in general, but also, obviously specifically talking about this series where, you can share your thoughts and your opinions and know that it's a safe space and that you've really enjoyed this community. And so that just makes me really, really happy. And I'm sad that this is the end. I do have 2 more videos coming for you guys that are Charmed related. As you guys know, I'm supposed to be talking with showrunner Joey Falco. I'm actually talking to him after this, and I will put that whole video together and hopefully have it next week. And also in that video, I'm going to be revealing who that extra special other Charmed surprise guest star I'm going to have in an interview is. So you're definitely going to want to check out that video. But yeah, 2 more interviews coming around Charmed. So but yeah, so let's just dive right on in then. In this epic season finale, Mel, Maggie, Kaela, along with Harry and Jordan, now have discovered that the foes working to bring down the power of 3 are actually working for an ancient evil that's been laying dormant since the dawn of magic. This powerful dark force, known as the Lost One, will be the ultimate test of the strength of the newly discovered sisterhood, forcing them to rekindle their connection or face the destruction of magic itself. I also want to give a quick shout out to StreamYard for making these live streams possible. They just make live streaming and recording so easy, which is why it's so simple for me to bring in you guys' comments, like this one right here, the multiverse. Your comments, as well as, we got another one here, one of their favorites. As well as photos. So let's bring in a nice, beautiful photo of our Charmed ones. There we go. So yeah, if you want your own StreamYard account, you can use my affiliate link in the description box below. You can go check that out. And again, this is it, guys. This is the final countdown. This is the last episode. So if you want to support me with a super chat, I greatly appreciate it. I'll definitely make sure to get to your comment or question. If you do, you would be my best friend. I think you guys already are my best friends, but it would really help me a lot, especially since this is kind of like the end of an era. But again, I also cover a lot of other TV shows and movies, so make sure you stick around for those that are coming up as well. Thank you, Erica. It has been a great season, and it's been great watching it with you guys as well. Hello, Bradley. I know, right? How do we say goodbye? Well, you don't have to say goodbye. You can stick around my channel if you want. We'll be talking about a lot of other shows and movies and hopefully finding other ones that we love as well. But yeah, this has been, it's been the end of it, quite an era, really. An end of an era that has been so much fun watching the show with you guys. Freddie, you're having an all-nighter so you could make it here live. It's been an awesome journey with you these last 4 seasons. Thank you so much, Kristen. Thank you guys. I mean, you guys are the ones that keep me going. So, we got a lot to talk about, though. So let's get into it. So the last we saw, right, everybody's dead. I'm like, what's going on? Through the magic of time travel, Maggie and Kaela are able to get a tape to the past showing that the world needs saving. Our queen, Josefina, finds it, and it's up to her to get it to the Charmed ones and kind of make them realize, this is serious. We need to do something. We need to fix this. So we end up back at that pivot point, as we discussed, right back at that moment after Deb's funeral, where Kaela is over everything. She doesn't even want to be a Charmed one anymore. This is sort of like that beginning stage of where everything kind of goes off the rails. So what I enjoyed really right off the bat with this episode is that there were so many parallels to not even just that first season, but the first episode of season 4. And you really get to see the sisters and Jordan and Harry learning so much throughout the season, and now that finally coming full circle in this final episode. Mel stops Roxy from going to sleep for 7 years without saying goodbye and talks to her about their relationship and how it really did matter to her. We saw throughout this season that Mel was struggling with so much, with the death of Macy, with all of this grief, and that she was taking it out on, alcohol and sleeping with other people and all this stuff. And now she's realizing that like she doesn't need to do that anymore. She's not hiding her grief, by getting together with Roxy. What they had was real. We also see her then offer to take over the Blue Camellia, which, kind of felt like a little like P3 vibes, a little bit like, oh, is this going to be like now the Charmed One running the club, the bar that's like a safe space for all these people? Maggie finally realizing that she needs to stop worrying and wasting time, and that, she and Jordan love each other. They need to embrace what they have and be together. I was so excited about that because, I think that they've actually done a really great job with their love story. And I think theirs is one of my favorites. Obviously I loved Deb and Kaela as well, but theirs has been one of my favorites because especially in like the past seasons, we'd seen so much like romance and like everything was so quick and you're like, oh my gosh, like how many love interests are they going to have? And they really set up Jordan and Maggie to like be this slow burn where like they were friends first. They slowly started having feelings, but they like still kept that friendship. And it wasn't until this final season that we actually got to see them together. And then, there were some ups and downs, but them finally realizing, like, I think what everyone in all of those past relationships of this show needed to realize, which is that like, there's always going to be this struggle. There's always going to be something going on. But as long as you love each other and are there for each other, like, that's all that matters, and embracing that. So yeah, I enjoyed those moments. I'm glad that we had these, kind of like emotional, happy endings. But yeah, let me go to some comments before I continue on. But yeah, I definitely think that's totally correct. I think it was, there's a lot of things going on, right? Like, the whole reason that Mel even proposed to Ruby was sort of like so much went on. She lost Macy, all this stuff's going down, and then she's like, I'm gonna just propose. And it's like, girl, you're a Charmed One. All you're doing is saving the world. Like, we don't even have time together. So like, what is this? And so I do think that it had to do with kind of all of that, when they lost Macy, that stress and that like fear of loss, like then made Mel propose to Ruby kind of like prematurely. And then that rejection also kind of then led to her going down that path of just like, sleeping with everybody, partying, drinking, all that stuff. So I think it was like a lot of all of that. And yeah, the Charmed Ones is like, what they didn't really have jobs this season, right? Like in the past they were, working at bars or working at schools or working, wherever. And it's like, yeah, this season they were kind of focused on so much that we didn't even kind of go into their regular lives. So yeah, maybe they do need a job. Yeah, I'm also glad that Maggie went straight for the kiss and the proclamation of love. Like, that's what I was waiting for. I was getting worried, honestly, that this episode we might lose Jordan. So I'm glad that we didn't. I'm glad things worked out. Yeah, and totally. The whole life's too short thing. I think that's the thing for all of this is sort of like life's too short. So like, I think in that case with Mel, she kind of acted a little too quickly, but with Maggie and Jordan, it's like life is too short. Like, we need to embrace the time that we do have together. So exactly, Daryl. They had overcome grief to help others overcome grief and then stop the destruction of the sisterhood. So let's continue on. And now that we've discussed that, which I think kind of sets up where we're going next in our conversation. So now that they're aware, of this tape, they're starting to change things, right? And the Lost One is seeing that and wants the unseen to go bigger, right? So instead of this initial plan to like be unleashed, create this magical utopia, Inara is now doing something else. And they're not really sure what it is, but it's something that's going to end all of magic and all of the magical creatures that exist. So Harry, we've got him now using his powers to help us. I feel like over the past few seasons, sometimes Harry has been a little bit useless, but I think in this season, even though he was kind of like there sometimes not, his power has been useful when they need him. So, Harry goes into the Vale to learn more about what's going on from one of the Lost One's troll followers who blew himself up. And while he doesn't get a lot of answers per se, he is able to sort of open the troll's eyes to Inara's deceptions and the reality that the Charmed Ones are really just like 3 young witches trying to do the right thing. And I think that kind of was interesting because I felt like this whole season The unseen sort of felt like a metaphor for like certain political things going on in the world, and maybe like this troll is an example of someone who's not fully educated to what's really going on and is kind of staking this stand while being manipulated. And so I thought that was like kind of interesting, especially to see like the realization that like, hey man, the lost one actually is a former charmed one, so like everything you thought you knew is completely different. And so I thought that was really interesting. And then kind of after that, we have this really super cheesy realization that the sisters that we are following, Kaela and Mel and Maggie, are so connected that they're even on the same period cycle, which I thought was so cheesy, so random. But then they're like, hey, maybe that means like, hey, the OG sisters, we need to like connect with them and figure out what Inara's plan is. Maybe they were as connected back in the day. It was a bit of a stretch. I thought that was a bit of a leap, but they work to go get help from the other sisters from the past, Ashani and Ishta, and we get to see these parallels that they have to them. So Mel has this moment with Ashani that she's at the bowling alley, and she's kind of talking about the loss of the sisterhoods and the just like the things that she's dealt with in the past and the grief that she's dealt with, and that leading her to go down this route of sex, drugs, and alcohol, which is exactly what she's dealing with as well. Then you see Maggie fighting Ishta at the Demon Fight Club, and they're kind of both paralleling this struggle of having to forgive themselves for things in the past. So I thought that was again, we're bringing these parallels back. I thought that was really interesting. Eventually, Ashani and Ishta agree to help, and that's when we learn the full magnitude of Inara's big plan. It turns out that back in the day, there was a failsafe put into place so that if they were not able to stop the Conqueror, they would destroy all of magic and everyone who has it. So, yeah, kind of a big thing, kind of overwhelming. That they would even have that ability to destroy literally all of magic and all of the magical creatures. But I'm going to go into some comments, and then we're going to continue on to what happens next and my thoughts there. Actually, I'm going to keep going because I think some of you are kind of talking about some things that I'm going to mention as well. Let me see, though, if there's any other comments to bring up, because I think we're all going to kind of get into all of that. Yeah, like I think it's really cool when the whole cast comes together and, everybody kind of has their part, and now they were able to kind of stop this big situation. Yeah, Inara, she did switch it up real quick. That was kind of corny as well. I agree. We're gonna talk about it. Yeah, maybe that's what it was. Yeah, I was as well expecting a big battle. We're going to talk about all of this. So let's get back to the conversation. So they end up doing this big ritual, right, to bring Inara back in hopes that they can stop her. So, Ishta and Ashani, they try to apologize to her, but that sort of pain of the past and how they locked her up, she just like is not open to forgiving. And she honestly like mocks the current charmed ones in their sisterhood. And it turns out the only way to stop this big magical bomb from going off is for the charmed ones to kind of step into the light and sacrifice themselves, which they get ready to do. Our current OG, or our current charmed ones, they get ready to do that. And they promise that like when people talk about their legacy, it's not going to be their sisterhood that ruined the world. And so they get ready to give themselves up for the greater magical good, which I think, really showed how much they've grown over the course of the series. Because, I mean, especially in the season, everyone was kind of like, yo, charmed ones, you're not helping us. And now they're like, okay, well, we're going to give our lives to every magical being now. not just witches, not just demons. We're not just focused on that. We're going to be here for everybody, which I think was kind of like the overall message, right, of this season. And as they go to give themselves up to the greater good, the greater magical good, Ishani and Ishta take their place. And surprisingly, so does Inara, right? So I guess Inara, right, she has a change of heart. She wants to save the world with her sisters one final time. And like you guys said, that was just a quick turnaround. Like, I guess I can appreciate that she had that realization and like wanted to fix things, but like she's the one who started this, right? None of this had to happen, especially this big bomb to get rid of magic. She's the one who did it, right? So then it sort of like loses those stakes a bit because it's like, girl, you did all this. What was the real reason if you're just going to turn around and say, never mind? I just wish that there had maybe been like a bigger catalyst as to like why she changed her mind. Like maybe if something else happened and then her sisterhood like helped save her or something. And I don't know, there was something missing there. So it's a bit anticlimactic. You know, they saved the world. I thought visually it was a little bit anticlimactic as well. I wanted to see this bigger battle as someone had already mentioned. I mean, they saved the world, so everyone's not dead, I guess, so that's good. But again, they just gave up their lives for something that they basically created. If they hadn't done any of this stuff back in the day, none of this would be happening, right? So let me bring in some comments because I think you guys are bringing up a lot of great comments about kind of what we're talking about. Yeah, the whole bowling thing was pretty goofy. If the world was ending, you can afford to cheat a little. I think they could have done a little bit more. I think it could have been a little bit, you know, maybe more visually appealing or like had a little bit more of a battle or just like a little bit more of a catalyst of why she made this change, you know, why she decided to like help them. Anara didn't want to die. That was her whole reasoning. Yeah, love the season and this episode, but it felt weirdly paced, like they were rushing to the end. Like I was trying to figure out like when are we going to, you know, the Halliwell manor at the end. Like I was kind of like, how is that? I mean, we'll get into that in a minute as well, but you know, things were kind of rushed, and then you know, even I think it could have been cool even if there was like just a little bit of a bigger like explosion when they finally like stopped everything and they disappeared. Like everything just kind of was like, bloop, they disappeared. Okay, bye. Let's see what else. Yeah, how was she able to harness the power of 3? Again, I'm gonna try to ask all these questions, guys, when we talk to Joey. So I'm talking to him later today. Again, that's not a live video; it's gonna be pre-taped, but hopefully we'll be able to get answers to a lot of the things that we're maybe unsure of. Not totally satisfied with the end. I don't know. Tell me a little bit more. What you're feeling? Is it like the end that we're going to talk about in a minute, or kind of the way that they saved the world? People confused. Bradley's confused about the use of Diana. Why was she really there? Yeah, they didn't really explore that as much. I sort of see what you mean, but also I kind of don't, because I mean it was just like they stopped something really huge and they were going to continue on with a different story. So I think they could have had like a bigger like thing at like in terms of saving like the magical world. I think that could have been bigger. But then yeah, they obviously like are going to had a place where they could continue the story. So I think that they could. I think it's maybe more of like a budgetary thing. Like maybe they don't have the budget for like all these big special effects. But I don't know. I think they could have put a little bit more into that. I thought the same thing. Where did Josefina get a VCR? How did she watch that? That did the tape in the beginning. That didn't really make sense to me either. I was like, where'd she get that from? But I guess maybe she connected with Harry, right? And maybe they watched it in like the Blockbuster space because they were watching it there, which I thought it was really cool because it felt like they're watching the TV show that we're watching of them. You know what I mean? So Let me see what else we got here. Oh yeah, I guess Kaela and Mel didn't really use their powers. Yeah, I think there's always things that we can kind of criticize or hope for more of, but let me see. I think. Oh, we got a super chat. Thank you so much, Majo Zajo, or is it Maho Zaho? Let me know if it's like a more of a J sound or an H sound. But thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate it. They said the ending was crazy. I really expected someone from the OG, even though we knew they wouldn't come. But I'm glad I found you and went through Charmed with you. Thank you. I'm glad that you did as well. We've had a great time over the course of these 4 seasons. It's been really fun. I didn't think anyone from the OG would come, but I mean, hopefully we'll find out the tea if anyone maybe was supposed to or they had thoughts on doing something like that down the line. But thank you again for that super chat. All right, so let's keep going because I got some more stuff to talk about. A few things to add before we get to the very final moments of this episode. I gotta say, I thought the whole interaction with Mel and Roxy before she went into that 7-year sleep was so cringy. It was I just didn't understand. Like, there was no humor there. I just didn't think it was funny. I thought it was cool that we did get to see Josefina use her nature power briefly. I just wish that they had done more there. It's like, hey, let's remove a little bit of moss from this big bomb so we can see how much time we have. I don't know. I think that they could have done more. I would have loved to see her help fight in some way. Again, I think if there had been a little bit more of a fight before, everything was wrapped up, that could have been really cool just overall. And seeing Jordan and Harry and Josefina and Mel and Maggie and Kaela all coming together and kind of showing that the power of their collective family, so to speak, was going to be what kind of stopped Anara. But again, what can you do? This is just us theorizing of what could have been, what would have been. But yeah, so anyway, so we skipped to 3 months later. And again, we got more of those great parallels to the first episode of the season and just how much everyone has really grown. It looks like there's group meetings being held in the magical community to work together and just build stronger connections. Maggie and Jordan are planning to move in together, which was, again, very exciting. I'm so glad Jordan didn't die. This was nice because in that very first episode of this season, Mel wasn't okay with Maggie wanting to move out because it wasn't really about her wanting to move out. It was about her wanting to bury things within herself and kind of push everyone away. And so it was nice that now Mel can be happy for Maggie moving towards something with Jordan and a future. Kaela paints a picture of the sisters being strong and united and connected. We get to see Harry burning paper notes to Macy at the beginning of this season, and now instead he's burning notes of paper that he's using to sort of let go of his past and writing new kind of goals for the future. And I really liked that he was I'm going to use my power in the Veil now to help other people in the magical community, maybe connect with that troll's family and kind of just let them find peace. So I thought that was really nice. And then Jordan decides to do the whole white lighter thing, but in his own way. He's not going to just be a white lighter for witches. He wants to kind of be there for everyone in the magical community who needs him. So everyone's in a great place at the end of this season. But of course, in those final moments of this episode, they get a note from Diana, who finds a door in that blockbuster with a triquetra on it. And Diana, she's free, but she says that this symbol suggests that the door is for them, right? So they open the door, they go inside, and they end up on the front porch of the original Charmed home, the Halliwell Manor. And they're like, what are we doing here? I don't know. There's something about this place that feels familiar. The door is open. So they're like, okay, let's go inside. And, we're stronger together. We can handle anything that we encounter. And, they go inside, right? And then the door magically closes. And there's just so many questions here. What does this mean? What is this journey that they're going to go on or they would have gone on? Who magically shut the door? What are you guys' theories, right? Because it's just very shocking, right? That they would even go so far as to like connect back to this house, right? This iconic home. And so I'm like, does this mean that there's maybe some adventure that would have gone on there where they would be, you know, if they were able to even get any of these people to come back, where they would maybe needed to like save the original charmed ones or help them in some way, or like there's just so many questions that I have. Is this like a fake out world? Is this like something like a demon setup, or is this truly that thing that connects them, you know, to the original series? And like, what would that connection have been? Again, yep. I also hope that we get answers in the interview, but I guess we'll see. You know, I have no idea. I really don't. And I like, even though we knew that it was coming, like, it still kind of was like, what? Like, I don't know what any of this means, right? So let me go to some of your guys' comments and questions and theories and whatnot, because maybe you have some answers that will help us figure things out. Let's see. So we got a comment here. I saw the door and I was like, that's the Halliwell Manor. That's the Halliwell Manor. Yeah, very exciting. You know, definitely feeling some parallels here. You know, Mel taking over the bar for Roxy, kind of like Piper opening P3. Let's see what else. Maggie moving out of Vera Manor, similar to Phoebe deciding to leave Halliwell Manor. Let's see. Daryl saying the ending was more symbolic. It was a way of having it all canon and saying there's more stories or the door for another world. I think that's a great explanation of kind of like what that means. Like there is more that exists, even if we don't necessarily get to see it. Like there are more stories, more charmed ones, other universes, and other magical adventures going on. Totally. And I did like that they ended in a way where it's kind of like, they are showing that like the sisters are strong together and they're going on their next adventure, right? So like even if we don't get to see it, like we know that they're still going strong, doing something, and like saving the magical world and helping everybody out. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Yeah, the whole Mel and Roxy thing. I don't know what was going on there. That was weird. Oh, that's a great point as well. Because they did say, like, Maggie said, like, we're stronger than we've ever been. And I think, yeah, that would have been nice if there was, like, a little connection to that thing their mom always said, like, nothing's stronger than your sisterhood. But missed opportunity there. Or maybe that was supposed to be sort of a reference, but in their own way. I'm laughing at this one. Like, Kaela's painting was like, it was a little hard to like recognize which one was which, I will say. But you know, let's see what else. Oh, and great reference or great memory that Maggie was trying to move out in the original first season as well. Interesting. Critico says that they think Diana's evil and that maybe she lied and she just wanted the Charmed Ones to open the portal between universes so she could send OG demons through to their world. Interesting. So for anyone who's thinking like, was it Macy? Was it Prue that shut the door? And their spirit or whatever that shut the door. Context code saying maybe it was Prue because maybe it wasn't Prue. Sorry, because her power had a jingle sound and there was none when it came to the door closing. Oh, very interesting theory from Jason, which I think makes sense. And maybe this is what I think also. Like maybe the Halliwell Manor is a magical home, so the home shut the door itself. I think that could make sense as well. Let's see what else. Let's see. Yeah, Halliwell Manor sits on a wicked and spiritual nexus. So yeah, maybe there's something with like, with where it's located. Or this is funny from Victor. Maybe it was just the wind. Like we're theorizing, it was probably just the wind. Context code says they wish that it, I think having Macy close the door would have been more symbolic, a nod to the OG, but also a parallel that like Macy is still kind of with them. Yeah, so there's lots of places that we could go next. I'm hoping to get the answers soon and be able to share it with you guys, or at least some like thought starters, really, of like what could have been. So yeah, I'm gonna start wrapping things up. So we got some more comments. I get that the ending was iconic, but I don't even know how to feel. I'm so stunned. I can't even express my opinion. I feel the same, right? I'm like, I don't even know. Did I like the episode? I did like the episode. I think that what I enjoyed about it was that we had some of these like moments from the past kind of like coming full circle here, and everyone sort of like learning lessons and then actually putting them into action. So I enjoyed that. I also liked being able to see that like we did have this like nice happy ending, like the people that we wanted to see together ended up together. And I do think that they opened up like an intriguing place to go, which I have no idea where they could have possibly gone if we did get a fifth season. Like I just don't understand like what would have happened, because we already know the reality is that like many of the people from the OG series are not cool with this series. So I don't know what could have happened. But overall, this season I think was really great. I think that they had a lot of emotional moments. They had some cool power moments. They had some great sisterhood moments. I really enjoyed the addition of Kaela. I thought that she brought so much positivity and lightness and new energy to the series. I felt like the tone of this season I really enjoyed more than the past seasons, because it was a little bit campier. It was a little fun. As much as like we also got some of those deep moments, like the fact that we got Dexter back this season. I was losing it. I was losing it over that. I loved that time travel episode going to the 20s. Like there was a lot of things that I really loved about season 4. I think that they ended on a big high. It was literally the most ambitious season they've done. I think that some things held them back a little bit, like maybe maybe money when it comes to like production and like being able to like deliver certain like visual looks or certain like magical effects. But when it comes down to it, I think this may have been the best season. Definitely up there with season 1 for sure, I think. It connected better with that. Like if you wanted to, you could probably just like watch season 1 and then watch like the last episode of season 3 and then watch season 4, and it would like all make sense still and like maybe flow a little bit better. Because I think the first season, right, you had that balance of like they're becoming magical, like they're learning about their magic, but they're also still living their regular lives, which I really like following stories like that. But then there was some humor, there was some some like campiness, so to speak. Then when you got into seasons 2 and 3, it was so dark, like so dark that like everything felt so serious, and like even characters that we loved felt like they sort of like became bitter and angry. And then coming back into this season, I felt like we brightened it up again a little bit, and I really enjoyed that. So I think that they really ended on a great season. I would have loved to see more, and I guess we'll see what ends up happening there. But regardless if this is the end, at least, it was one of the best seasons that they've done. But we also got another super chat coming in. Thank you so much to Mr. Hootie Dean. I appreciate you saying happy finale. Since Shannon was the most publicly supportive, how mind-blowing would it have been if Prue answered the door? It would have been mind-blowing. Also, I think it would have opened like some crazy confusion stuff because, right, like that would not be the OG Charmed world unless it was like, I guess, before Prue died, right? Like they would have had to travel not only through time but also back into not only through to a different universe but also back in time, right? Because that was like 1998, around that time, around the 90s. So I guess like technically like it wouldn't make sense for her to be there because Prue would have been dead, right? Unless we're just like completely like moving things around or going to a completely different Charmed dimension. I don't even know. My brain hurts just thinking about it. But it would have been cool. It would have been cool. I would have lost my mind. I would have lost my mind. But I just didn't think it would happen. But you know, who knows what they were trying to do? Or trying to plan for the future. Stefan says, almost 20 years in the Halliwell, still don't lock their door. Remembering OG Series 3 when Prue had a stalker and Daryl was like, lock your door. Yeah. Yep. Let me see. So there's some back and forth. I'm just bringing up this comment to like address it, but some back and forth of like who really created the video store, because Diana says it was like happened in the 70s. People are like, is it Phoebe? So that's something I'm definitely going to ask. I believe someone sent in a question of that, so I'm going to like ask that question when I talk to Joey literally in 5 minutes. So I need to sign off in a minute. Yeah, Dwayne asking, why didn't the final episode have a villain for them to use the power of 3 on for the last time? That's a great question. I don't know. I guess maybe they were just so focused on like connecting this back to the OG sisters of their world and then connecting it to like the OG Charmed that we know. So like maybe they were just like didn't allow time for something like that. I'm not really sure. Also, I guess like how to use the power of 3 on like the villain who is encompassing the power of 3 as well. You know what I mean? Another super chat from DJ. Thank you so much. Thanks for the reviews. You help make seasons 2 and 3 more bearable to watch. Thank you guys. You guys helped me make that more bearable to watch because that was a struggle. Can you ask Joey what the storyline would have been at Halliwell Manor? I will definitely. I have so many questions, guys. I'm definitely going to be asking that as well, or just finding out like what was the plan in general. So 100%, absolutely. Thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate it. Ooh, I feel like it left the door open for a future Charmed series, like into the Charmed verse. I love it. Yeah, I mean, like really, you could really open the door and go to so many different universes. Like maybe there are other Charmed ones out there still, in other worlds. It's like everything's a multiverse now, right? Oh, thank you, Stefan, for this lovely, lovely super chat. Really, guys, I appreciate it so much. Thank you so much for these super chats. It helps me a lot. And I'm just so glad that we were able to, kind of come together over this series, talk about everything, the highs and the lows. Like we all know seasons 2 and 3 weren't great, but it's okay. We can still talk about it together. We love this season 1, like the highs and lows throughout. I appreciate that you guys are able to join me and talk about all that. And again, I'm going to miss the show, but there's so many other amazing shows out there as well that we can talk about. So I look forward to that as well. But yeah, I also wanted to mention, I told you I'm doing the interview with Joey. My Patreon subscribers currently have an exclusive first look at the name of the other Charm star that's going to be joining me for another extra special interview. There's even a photo up. So if you want to know who it is before everybody else, and before the interview with Joey comes out, you can check that out at patreon.com/kmaldo. Just throwing it out there. All your support is greatly appreciated. Oh yes. Hold on. First kill. It's good. It's a little campy at times, but it's really fun. I think you guys would like it. I'm hoping to do a video for that soon. It's just I'm also doing Tribeca Film Festival, so I'm like all over the place. But yeah, First Kill, I had a lot of fun with it. I think you guys would like it. Hearts, thank you. I actually really gotta go because Joey's about to join me in a few minutes in a different space so that we can do the interview. So I want to say thank you guys so much, again, for joining me every week, for talking about the show with me, for the super chats, for the love, for the support. If you want to follow me and continue to support me, again, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. I do videos on tons of TV shows and movies and interviews. So I'd be happy to have you guys continue to stay here and support. You can also follow me at Kaymaldo, Kaymaldo, everywhere. Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, at a 1 at the end, and I'm on Instagram. It's just been so much fun being here with you guys every week. 4 seasons, man. We did it. So we're going out on a high. And I just want to thank you all so much for joining me each week and for all your support. And obviously this is like the last like real video, but like if you have any theories or thoughts on like what was going on in this finale and like what does the Halliwell manor stuff mean, feel free to leave a comment. Obviously I will respond to you. And thank you again. So I will catch you guys hopefully in another video. And look out for those interviews with Joey and a special guest coming very soon. Bye. Consider subscribing if you like my videos, and if you want to talk more TV and movies with me outside of the comments section, check out the exclusive Discord available on my Patreon at patreon.com/kmaldo. If you like this one, you can check out more of my videos right over here. See ya!